allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everyone to the regular public meeting of the Lower Gwinnett Township Board of Supervisors for Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. The Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session on December 16th, 2025, and prior to tonight's meeting to discuss matters of emergency services, potential litigation related to agreements, real estate related to the planned public works garage, and personnel appointments. With that, I am going to turn it over to Maureen Nunn from our Environmental Advisory Council for a presentation on our Growing Green Awards. I think we want to do it. It's okay.
Hello, my name is Maureen Nunn. I'm a member of the Environmental Advisory Council for Lower Gwinnett, but tonight I have the honor of presenting the 2025 Going Green Awards on behalf of the Board of Supervisors for Lower Gwinnett and the Environmental Advisory Council. But before I get into my presentation, I want to acknowledge the contributions of the Going Green Awards Subcommittee, all of the members that are listed here, and I want to have them all stand up and be congratulated and applauded and thanked for all the work they've done over the years, not receiving $1, but just the reward of making Lower Gwinnett a better place. So let's get started. Tonight, I want to focus on just a little explanation for those of you who are being introduced to the Going Green Award of what it is. But the bulk of the presentation is going to be focused on the winners, as it should be. Next slide. Basically, the Going Green Award, what is it not, is what I'm first going to talk about. The Going Green Award is not Lower Gwinnett trying to go out into our township to find the absolutely perfect, environmentally friendly, environmentally sustainable person, place, business in the township. What it is our opportunity to literally celebrate a lot of the activities, a lot of things that people are just doing within Lower Gwinnett in order to be sustainable and contribute. Basically, our theme is recognizing somebody for doing something right. Next slide. People that can participate in the Going Green Award, obviously residents, business groups, nonprofits, educational institutions, or any other entity. Our only requirement is that they are within Lower Gwinnett. Next. I want to assure everyone that there is a whole process associated with giving out this award. It's not just picking a name out of a hat. There are a series of evaluations, first by our subcommittee, the Environmental Advisory Council as a whole, and everything is approved by the boards of supervisors. Next. We are evaluating all sorts of environmental activities, energy efficiency, water conservation, waste minimization. These are just the start of everything, of the different types of applications, and all the people on the subcommittee have a variety of different backgrounds to contribute to the evaluation. But one of the things that we do a little bit differently is basically we have a community outreach portion, as you will see when we start looking at the winners. So next slide. We're going to start with our first winner, and it's Renee Misson. And she won the Going Green Award Conservation Award. Let me tell you a little bit about Renee. Renee is a resident of Lower Gwinnett, and she's a longtime resident of Lower Gwinnett. She moved here years ago and, bought a house with a fairly typical lot, but she had a different vision. She wanted to develop a lot into something that would welcome wildlife, be sustainable, use native plants. She wasn't a gardener by training, so she reached out and did a lot of learning in order to make it happen. If you look at these pictures, you can see her lot now is nothing that you would call typical. It's something that's very, very special. One of the things we want to recognize is that as she was pursuing her passion out in her yards, and her neighbors would go by or her HOA would make inquiries, she would educate them. And as a result, many of the residents that talked to her are now utilizing native plants. And I want to tell you, as a member of the Environmental Advisory Council, one of the things that we find very, very difficult is how to encourage people to make environmentally sustainable changes to their own lot. It's not just that they don't want to. I mean, certainly they want to, but they've got kids and jobs and activities, and it's very, very difficult. Renee certainly helped us do that, and we want to recognize her today for that. With that, I'd like to invite Renee Missant to the podium to receive her award. You're welcome. Okay, the next slide. Next slide. Okay. Our next Going Green Award was the Community Outreach Award. And what the activity that we're focusing on is the Walk, Bike, and Roll school event. It was spearheaded by Deanna Morris. Next slide. And I want to tell you, this was not a Lower Gwinnett school-sponsored activity, that she literally did it independently. So she started off with advertising to generate interest. Her target audience was Lower Gwinnett elementary school, middle school, and high school students. And basically what she wanted to remind all of us is that we don't have to get in our cars to drive someplace, that we can bike, we can walk, and we can roll even to where we want to go. She made it a lot of fun. She reached out into our community to get sponsors. And I want to acknowledge and thank the Partnership for Transportation, the sponsors that are present here tonight, who gave her free helmets and bike safety resources. She was also supported by the Lower Gwinnett Police. And everyone that I spoke to that participated in this event, they were very, very enthusiastic. Next slide. Oh, there it is. Okay, and basically what I would tell you is the word is getting out. They started off with 55 participants, and it's now 60. And these participants were all kept safe by our Lower Gwinnett Police. So I want to invite up here Deanna Morris, who spearheaded the entire activity, to get the Outreach Award for the Going Green Award.
Is this on? I just wanted to say like a really quick thank you, especially to the Environmental Council and Jackie Baxter Rollins, who had reached out to me a couple of years ago about helping with the event. We started this in 2022 with literally a group of moms from the borough and from Lower Gwinnett School saying, hey, let's make sure our kids can bike to school safely. So it's grown every year since then. I really do also want to thank Officer Henry and Chief Kenny and the Lower Gwinnett Police, along with Chief Brakowski and the Ambler Police. So it's been a team effort and it's grown every year. And so thank you for recognizing this event.
Drum roll. Our final and overall winner of the Going Green Award is the Wissahickon Outdoor Environmental Club. And the activity that we were specifically trying to highlight here is the planting of the new flowers on the side and front of the Wissahickon High School, basically. What they did was they needed to plan the garden, see exactly what needed to be done. They reached out to the environmental action committees, not just of Lower Gwinnett, but also of Whitpain and Ambler, in order to design the proper garden that would be sustainable and achieve what they wanted to do. They didn't depend on us for money. They literally went out there and sold candy in order to raise the money, in order to purchase the flowers, in order to implement the design after they did that. Throughout the school, they reached out, they sold candy, and apparently that was a really big hit and an easy sell. They took all of us on a tour, and what I can tell you is that they've touched other members of the Wissahickon High School. The photography class is now using all of these resources that they've provided in their groups. So with that, what I'd like to do is to invite all of them to stand, and certainly to invite Carolyn Popovic to come to the front to receive the award. She's their faculty mentor on their behalf. What I'd like to conclude with is basically, if you want to learn more about the Going Green Award, all the detailed information is available on the Lower Gwinnett website. And we're looking to next year in order to find our next nominees. And we're hoping that each of you will look around Lower Gwinnett and refer to us and give someone else the opportunity to get the Going Green Award for Lower Gwinnett. But I'd like to take the opportunity right now to applaud all of our winners. With that, I'd like to turn it over to you, then.
Thank you so much. I think on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, we want to congratulate all those that were nominated, especially our winners. And thank the EAC for putting together the nomination process, evaluating and putting forward this Going Green Award. It is very inspirational as far as how everyone's impacting our community. I also want to take this time to say, if you do want to leave, you can leave now. Next up on our agenda is public comment. And this is for comments on any items that are not on the agenda. Thank you. Any public comment?
Yeah.
Public comment? No one? Nope, seeing none. Next up from the board, we have consideration, included in our board packet is a memo regarding our comp plan, consideration on the initiation of the adoption process, which would also include advertisement of a legal public notice for public hearing of the Lower Gwinnett Township Comprehensive Plan. The plan would guide the future land use for Lower Gwinnett until 2045. And we are planning a town hall on Thursday, February 19th at 7 p.m. at Gwinnett Mercy University to receive community feedback. However, what's considered in front of us is the authorization to commence the 45-day public review period pursuant to the requirements of the PA Municipal Planning Code. Any questions on the memo from the board?
No.
Any questions on the memo from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the commencement of the 45-day public review period pursuant to the requirements of the PA Municipal Planning Code. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you guys so much. Next up, I think we have a presentation by Susan Rice. This is related to a subdivision plan for 1521 and 1524 Cedar Hill Road.
Yes. Susan Rice with STA Engineering on behalf of the applicant. You may remember this plan from a few years ago where 3 existing parcels were being combined, and subdivided into 7 lots. This proposal takes 2 of those 3 parcels and is subdividing into 4 lots. There are 2 existing homes on the property. There's nothing fancy or special about this. It's by right connecting to public water, public sewer. And we have reviews from your consultants that we plan to comply with, except for a few discussion items that we also discussed with the Planning Commission, which would be just the waivers and the open space and trail that's proposed. The Planning Commission discussed those items, and they would be the open space that is currently shown on the rear of the properties. Discussed moving that to the front of the properties, then it would be along the ultimate right of way. Currently, the open space in the back is has some existing vegetation and some of the stormwater management areas located in it. If we pushed it to the front, we would be in the front yards for those buildings. It would be up against the ultimate right of way along Cedar Hill Road. And it will be adjacent to the proposed trail that is along Cedar Hill Road. It would include the driveways that get to these dwellings. It would include underground utilities connections into Cedar Hill Road. And it would also include the street trees and some of the additional replacement tree plantings that would be required as part of the subdivision. There's no objection from our end to move that open space to the front. And we would propose to do that if you're in agreement. The other item is the trail that runs along Cedar Hill Road. Currently, it's proposed as a paved trail. Planning Commission talked about the potential to change that to a natural trail. They would be have no objection to that. So we would ask for your opinion on whether you want it a paved trail or a natural trail. It is in the ultimate right of way. It would be located just 1 foot inside of the ultimate right of way. It's a 6 foot wide trail. You'd have 5 feet between the trail and the existing edge of road. Excuse me, the proposed edge of road once it's widened to a total of 13 feet from the center line. There would be street trees along the front of this, and those street trees would be planted about 5 feet off the ultimate right of way, which would leave it about 6 feet off of the proposed trail. So those are really the 2 items that we would look for some direction on from you. And then we also have a list of waivers that I'd like to go through now, if that's okay. Okay, so we have 5 waiver requests. The first one is to allow this to be a preliminary and final plan approval at the same time. Number 2 requires that sidewalk be provided along both sides of existing and new streets. We would ask for a waiver of that requirement to allow the paved trail along the street rather than sidewalk. Number 3 requires driveway aprons to be constructed on all private driveways and within residential areas. If we're granted that waiver for sidewalk, we will have a paved trail and there would not be a need for the concrete aprons. Number 4 requires curb along both sides of all existing and proposed streets. We're asking for a waiver of that requirement to not provide curb along our property. The road and drainage from the road comes into our site and is then discharged through our site and then managed in stormwater management facilities that are located on each individual lot. If we were to put curb in, it would impede that drainage from sheet flowing off the road and through our property. And in order to capture and collect that runoff and bring it into our property, we'd need a lot more stormwater inlets and piping systems. Right now, it sheet flows in and is able to get into the systems with swaling and inlets to catch that runoff. And then the last one is a waiver from the requirement to have a minimum storm sewer pipe diameter of 18 inches. The storm sewer designs are proposing pipes less than 18 inches, 8, 10, 12, 15 inch. All of that is to manage the stormwater in a way that meets all of the permit requirements for NPDS and also the township requirements. These are private systems. They'll be owned and maintained by the property owners, and these pipe sizes are designed for the 100-year storm and can convey the appropriate flows. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any
Sure.
questions from the board?
Yeah, well, just in terms of comments, I appreciate your willingness to move the open space to the front. I do see a benefit in that. And I just want to, and you can just give me a nod. The sidewalk and trails plan, it included future trails or sidewalk along Cedar Hill Road, right? Does it matter whether it's paved or like a sidewalk or a paved trail to sort of comply with the goals of that plan? Because I think that would help the guidance we give here.
I don't think that it matters whether it's paved or limestone or something like that to comply with that plan, but it's my recommendation that the trail be paved. And that's just because we also are going to ask the residents along there to be responsible for snow removal. That's kind of a new thing we've been trying to get accomplished, because if there was, you waive sidewalk, and if there was sidewalk there, they would be required to shovel it. So like putting the winter maintenance on them, you're not losing anything in the waiver for the trail. And it's going to be much easier for them to shovel a paved trail, and just maintenance long term is going to look better than something that's more naturalized.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And then one before you sit down, the curbing, does that matter with respect?
The
to-
curbing,
Okay.
that waiver is consistent with the previous approval, and the thought and what Susan mentioned is correct. Like the way the drainage comes across Cedar Hill towards the site, you can accomplish drainage in a positive way with the swaling and the inlets and stuff, and that would be consistent with what's up street and down street on both sides of Cedar Hill Road.
Don't sit down yet, though. So I just wanted to make sure also, I was going to ask that similar question, but the natural trail, is there a propensity for that type of trail to like become overgrown and not be utilized because it doesn't look like a trail anymore? And
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's the reason why we started recommending that all trails in the township be paved, because you have a lot of limestone trails that were installed historically, and like Public Works has a difficult time fixing them and maintaining them after large rain events because they're constantly washing out. So like
you
in
want it
talking
paved.
with Fred, like it's just better to have them paved.
And the requirement on the homeowner to maintain the trail like they would a sidewalk seems consistent. The other thing with the curbing, I understand what you're saying about the water coming through and kind of going into the retention basin. Does that in any way pollute or go downstream or enter our streams and bring pollutants from the road into our streams?
Well, currently you could say that it is because it's washing off of the
Off of the
road
roadway,
and into
the inlets that are going down to-
inlets and eventually getting to the stream. But what they will be doing is collecting it
In
and
a
putting it
basin.
through stormwater management controls that will serve to increase the water
So
quality.
this is actually preferable for stormwater management and keeping our.
Yes, this is one of the benefits of development or redevelopment is that the water that is not currently treated would be treated.
And just, can you just define what is a driveway apron?
Yeah, so a driveway apron is like when you have curbing and then sidewalk adjacent to it, like the entire sort of trapezoid area is concrete.
Mm-hmm,
So that concrete part that's between the sidewalk and the edge of the curb is like an apron.
I see.
But I agree with Susan, it wouldn't be needed if
If we're
there's
gonna do
no
that.
curb and no concrete sidewalk.
Last thing, I know that they talked about planting trees along the street. I didn't hear about any tree removal, so there is no tree removal?
There is tree removal, but they are proposing to replace it on an inch to inch basis. And so they don't need a waiver.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. That's all that I have. Does anybody else have any?
Another question. So the open space is going to be an easement on each individual lot,
That's what I believe would happen, yes.
and the trail would also be an easement on each individual lot? You're shaking your head no.
It's in the right of
The trail's in the right of way.
Okay, but the open space is not, so that's maintained by each individual property owner? What happens if a property owner doesn't maintain it?
I think there would need to be an agreement for every single lot deed restricting and providing for the maintenance of that open space. However, the solicitor wishes to accomplish what he's asking.
Because normally that would be like an HOA obligation.
Yeah, I don't think that this development is large enough and
I
there's
agree.
no common stormwater facilities. So however we want to accomplish the homeowners maintaining the stormwater, maybe there's a similar agreement for the open space.
Okay,
Can I follow up and ask another question? So the public will be able to utilize the public space, which would theoretically be the front of each person's yard?
I
'Cause
don't,
it's the
I
public
don't,
space?
that's not really how we envisioned.
But I mean, it is the open space, which would be accessible to the public historically.
I think the ordinance requires that.
Yeah.
If it's along a trail, right, you would envision eventually in the future, in our dream world, there'll be a trail up and down that street, right, that people could.
So how are we going to identify that the public has access to this portion of each home's front yard? Through a fence? Through a line of trees? And will each homeowner be advised that the public is able to utilize this portion of their front yard?
Well, clearly there has to be a declaration recorded against all four properties. And I think there ought to be notification in their agreements and their deeds that they have property that's subject to an open space easement. And it can't be used for a swing set or
Right.
anything else. And the public can't be fenced out.
Right.
I
Or
think-
like-
Yeah, it's not such an easy situation.
Or like
It's not, I think
decorations.
that the enforcement mechanism of the enforcement of preventing someone from putting a swing set or any other kind of amenity in the open space was a reason why we thought maybe it was better in the front of the lot rather than the back. And there's also the township has had a lot of problems with fence encroachments and all of
Mhm.
this. So when we talked about at a staff level, when we talked about where the open space would make sense, that was where the recommendation for the front yard was generated.
No, I think it makes sense. I just think that you have to also realize that it's not their property, it's the public's property. And so if individuals decide to have a picnic in their front yard, they totally can.
I wonder if you can.
And they can't call the
kind of
police and tell them to
replacement
get off.
trees, create a buffer, sort of like outlining where the public space.
That's what I meant by like the tree line or like design tree line
Right.
where this is, because on the other side of that, it's the public space.
Can I ask a question about it being a public space. So we're not dedicating it to the township. It wouldn't be dedicated, it would be on the homeowner's properties. Why, for what purpose would that open space be for the public? Like, why?
I just foresee people walking their dogs and walking on the trail and playing there with their kids or doing whatever it is that they would want. It's not their front yard.
But it is their
It's open space.
But it is their front yard.
It's their front yard and it's not open space and it doesn't meet the requirements of the ordinance. It's gotta be available for public use.
Okay. It's an odd concept to me, for a
It is an
subdivision
odd
of this site,
concept.
this size, and I mean, me being a homeowner, allowing the public to have a picnic in the front yard?
Yeah, I
It's a little
would.
odd. That's a little odd. Can it be like a deed restricted area for these 4 lots that they, don't do anything in there, but inviting the public onto a private lot is odd to me.
And it's not a private lot though, if it's
It is a
if it's
private
identified as that portion of your lot is private space. I mean, I know a lot of
Public
homeowners
space.
believe that they own all of their property, like, that from the center line of the street up until a portion of your property is actually the right of way. Most people don't realize that and believe it's theirs. So when a sidewalk is put in, they're like, you're taking my property to make a sidewalk. And we've had this conversation with others.
Mhm.
It's not technically theirs.
Okay, but the underlying property here is theirs. It's not being dedicated for public use. It will be deed restricted as open space, meaning nothing can be put or placed in there, like swing sets or structures or anything like that. So
Does the open space have to be available? Like, is that
Yeah, have
feature
you
of
looked
the
at the
open
Montgomery
space.
County Planning Commission letter? I mean, they raise all these
Yeah.
issues
Mhm.
about it being common open space and being open to the public. These are ordinance requirements.
And if there's a way to craft it kind of as like space surrounding the trail, it would make sense, I
Mhm.
think, to a pedestrian kind of using it as a path eventually when there's consistent trail throughout. They would make sense that maybe there's space over here and here for them to walk their dog on, but they're not gonna then walk into somebody's front lawn if there's, trees or a
Some
fence
kind of
or.
delineation.
So can they
Something.
put signs out to not leave dog stuff?
I mean, that's commonplace everywhere. That's commonplace
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
In all of our
now
parks.
Private yard.
I just
well.
don't, I can just foresee 10, 15, 20 years from now, completely not realizing that this is space that is accessible to the public. And individuals calling the police and saying people are walking in my front yard.
Why
So
couldn't the trail be in the open space?
Right.
I think the trail could be. in the
That's how I
open space.
envisioned it.
That-
So you're saying like put the open space to the front, right on the right of way line and then meander the trail through it so that like.
Correct.
Yep.
And then folks, like the public views it just as a trail,
Just a trail.
not, not the surrounding areas open space. And then the design of the home's front yard could be structured that way.
I mean, I think the county explained it very well in their review letter. Seems feasible to me.
And my interpretation is that that was what you were proposing. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on it, but it seems like that wasn't what you were proposing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the typical, sidewalk trail along the road.
Mm.
I think that, it's up to your client but I would say if you slid the open space there and you meandered the trail through it and you planted on either side of the trail, it takes away from the
Confusion.
I don't think anyone's having a picnic there, but it's
Yeah.
kind of strange
know.
to think that. And I don't really know. This section of the ordinance is odd and I think others would agree in that, like, it's requiring 10% of open space just to do a by right subdivision. Generally speaking, like, these open space dedications are related to sort of cluster developments, and like there's enough space to put this very easily on the left side of this plan and then subdivide it. So
But it's usually positioned in a way where the public would never be able to access it, nor know about it, nor even consider utilizing it. I kind of thought that this was a good idea as it relates to making it accessible to the public, putting a trail on it and making it usable. That's at least how I interpreted what I thought your intention was, and I thought the county planning commission was articulating that.
And it's along this sort of one of the priority
Trail
No.
connection.
roads where I think we said we would like, when there is an opportunity to weigh in on this, we would like there to be either a sidewalk or trail or something accessible to the public to make those connections. I mean, to me, it makes sense to put the trail in the open space because it would satisfy both of those, would satisfy the ordinance, right? And it would satisfy our objectives to have these connections.
Yeah, it's just a
Just sound- I know-
concept for,
Yeah.
you know, if I'm living in that house, just odd, yeah.
Right. No, I understand that. I think I'm just thinking more, right, like down the line in the future, as more homes want to do this, more, if there's 2 more lots that want to consolidate and have 4 homes, you know, we then continue to kind of build the trail on Cedar Hill Road.
Any additional
I don't know if
questions?
we gave you any more guidance or just made it really complicated.
There's a message in the chat from a Barbara that says, is this the same at 1300 Cedar Hill Road?
It's what the same.
I don't know. That's all it said.
Mhm.
I'm assuming maybe they mean the trail. There's a trail there, isn't there, Fred? At 1300.
Trail down Cedar Hill Road or funds actually are trail that was dedicated to us, so this is not the same
Okay.
situation. And back to the prior question, it was natural and we paid it, but we
Couldn't maintain it.
couldn't.
Are there any additional questions, comments from the board?
No.
Any additional questions or comments from the public?
No.
So I don't know if this is something that you want us to move forward with as it relates to working with our solicitor. I know that this is just the presentation.
Right.
And we can instruct our solicitor work with you as we move forward, or we could let you discuss with your client and come back. I don't know if you have a preference.
Good question. I don't know that we have a choice other than to go to the zoning hearing board for that item.
You could do
right?
that, sure.
Yeah, that would be the only item, option we would have. And he's of course not here to discuss with, so.
I really think you need to go back and consider the effect of the
Yeah.
ordinance on the plan and
mhm.
work with Jim and myself and see if we can come up with a solution.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. And we are still working through our MPDS permit, so we're getting there on that one. So it might be another month or two before we have that. So we have a little bit of time. So I'll take this back to the client and then we can discuss again with you.
So we have before us the memo now with our feedback. Is it necessary for us to authorize you to have a conversation? No. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Up next, included in our board packet is a memorandum from our Assistant Township Manager related to a deed of dedication for sanitary sewer improvements that have been installed in conjunction with the Hunt Seat Drive subdivision as described in the deed of dedication. The memo basically outlines what the deed of dedication is. It was prepared by our solicitor, giving the terms of the sanitary sewer facilities and where they were installed around Hunt Seat Drive. It depicts, or the improvements are depicted on the preliminary final land development plan. It was dated November 8th of 2019, then revised on November 30th, 2020, and recorded on March 19th, 2021. The engineer has confirmed that the sewer improvements have been installed, inspected, and found to be acceptable and ready for dedication. The final as-built of the sewer system has also been received. So the resolution is included in our board packet. Are there any questions from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public?
Oh.
Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2026. There's no other number. Is it 1? No, can't be 1. The resolution attached, 2026. Accepting the deed of dedication for the sanitary sewer improvements that have been installed in conjunction with the Hunt Seat Drive subdivision as described in the deed of dedication. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration, or it's a memo on an update from our Wissahickon and Clean Water Partnership. And I think I'm going to turn it over. Is the township manager or assistant township manager going to update us? Included in the board packet is a memorandum, but do you want to give us any background?
I can give you a little bit of background. So for a long time, Lower Gwinnett Township has been part of the Wissahickon Creek Watershed Partnership, which is a multi-municipal group that has been working together to address a TMDL, a designation from EPA and DEP that there's too much phosphorus in the Wissahickon Creek watershed. So this has been a collaborative effort, a whole lot of players to try to figure out how to address that in a way that would comply with the environmental regulations. And it's been a long time coming. The water quality improvement plan is before the regulators. There's optimism that maybe it is finally close to being approved. There was discussion last year among all the entities involved about how to now formalize the partnership, and everybody agreed it should become a consortium. So we now have a draft agreement of what that consortium would be. And they are looking for feedback by the end of next week. So the solicitor and assistant manager and I have reviewed it. We have a lot of more detailed comments, but just in general, we have a lot of overall concerns about this. Mostly we just don't have enough information with this draft. The biggest thing was we have no idea how much this is going to cost. The agreement came with they call it the coded list of projects. It's literally, so we know how many projects potentially would be in Lower Gwinnett Township, but they have a code on them. We don't know where they're located. What was provided with the agreement doesn't show where they're located, what exactly the project would be, what the cost estimate is. So we can't tell long-term what all those projects are. We can't see that for any of the other municipalities as well. And there would be projects from that entire list that would be selected for the initial 5 years or so. Startup, we don't know what that costs. We don't know what the township's obligation then would be to pay. We have a lot of questions, even of how it's structured, of would we be paying for projects up front? Could we design projects ourselves? Can we take projects off that list? We've tried to do that in the past and weren't able to. Projects that are in Lower Gwinnett. So there's a lot of changes we think that need to be made before the staff would ever want to recommend this to the board. So we want to provide some pretty detailed comments back to the group that's putting this together. And I just wanted to make sure the board is on the same page with that.
No, I hope that, I know that this has been a long time coming. The entirety of my term on the board, this has been a conversation, and I was hoping we were nearing to the end, but it seems like it's kind of diverted a little bit and different, at least from the last few presentations that we've had as it relates to how the projects are counting, who's responsible for the projects, if you're getting credit for the projects. It seems like a lot of that is shifting and it's turning into a never-ending sea of projects. And maybe we don't get to weigh in on the acceptance of those projects or what projects are removed or included, so forth and so on. So I appreciate you and Jamie keeping us up to date and making us aware of kind of how it's evolved and how it's moved forward. But I would be very hesitant. Just one supervisor, but I would be very hesitant in us entering into any agreement without all of that explicitly explained. And also understanding what our roles are, how credit is going to be distributed, the responsibilities for us to complete the projects. Are we getting credit for other projects as this group has projects completed, and the ultimate cost to our municipality? I know that there's a whole host of other municipalities included, but I think it's never been clearly articulated what the ultimate cost would be, and that seems to have shifted a bit from our last presentation. So please, on behalf of the board, or at least me, but I'll speak for the board, please share those concerns and those questions, and that we are very hesitant in moving forward without those answers being clearly delineated to us.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. I share those concerns. And another concern I have is after this agreement is executed and assuming everything is approved by DEP and the EPA, do we lose control over, which projects are done and when they're done? And do we no longer have a say in this list of projects or any changes as time goes on? I understand there's continuing to be a consortium with representatives from the township, but not necessarily, this full board is going to be able to. I'd be concerned if the full board is not able to weigh in on how we're allocating money going forward. Because even if we select a representative to be on the board, we were all elected, and we all should have an equal say. So that was concerning to me too. I don't know how that gets built in the future.
Just to add, speaking to that, like I would feel uncomfortable hamstringing future boards, not knowing what the cost ultimately could be or will be, and when this could end, because it seems like it could be a never-ending stream of projects forever. How are we defining a completion? What is resolution to us? What does success look like to us? All of these questions have not been made clear to me.
So, and just to build on that, we would be one of 13 municipalities. You'd have one vote as currently drafted, one equal vote, even though Lower Gwinnett would have a much larger financial obligation than many of the other participants. That's another concern that we have. So it's everything that you're saying. Still, I think it's a preliminary. It needs a lot of work,
No, they're still open to taking this feedback, correct? I just want to make sure that they're not at the finish line.
No. I hope so.
No, they're not.
I mean, this is essentially an agreement of just saying, let us do whatever we want and you agree to it, but there's no who, what, where, why, when, and how in the agreement. So it's not much of an agreement except for open up your pocketbooks and we'll tell you how to spend it. So I think we do need to get some of those details.
Okay, that's helpful feedback. We'll draft it up. They've asked for feedback, so I'm going to take them at face value that they want feedback, and we will provide it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if there was any additional comment from the board or if any additional comment from the public. No?
No.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. My computer, why? Hold on 1 second. Okay. Next up is our consideration for Green Ribbon Trail Access and Safety Improvement Plan. Is John? John's not here. Oh, John. John, do you want to present anything to us?
Certainly, I can talk about it really quickly. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So Upper Dublin is leading a coalition of 7 municipalities, SEPTA, Natural Lands Trust, Wissahickon Trails, the County Planning Commission, and DCNR to take a look at the Green Ribbon Trail. And they're focusing on 7 different points that are both access points and crossings along the trail that they think could use some pedestrian improvements. So the Upper Dublin-led team applied to DCNR and got a grant to do a study for this. That was a $35,000 grant, and it requires a $35,000 match. So they have asked that the municipalities divide up the $35,000 match between them. And several of them, I think it's 4 of us are being asked for $5,000 contributions each. Looking at the grand scheme of things, there's 7 intersections total. 2 of them are in Lower Gwinnett. It's Station Avenue, Station Lane and Plymouth Road, which is by the Gwinnett Valley train station, and the Penland Pike Trewillan Avenue intersection near China Grace Christian Church, which we were actually starting to look at already. So basically, we put this match in. It puts together a plan that would be done by a consultant. And then the hope is that the improvements will look at things like whether there's rapid flashing beacons needed, trail alignment, sidewalks, all those kinds of things. Very much in line with our sidewalk and trail plan that we've talked about. And then once we have that in place, the group would then start going and looking for other grants for the implementation side. But at this point, they're just looking for an agreement to do a $5,000 contribution towards the match.
Thank you so much. Any questions from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public?
No.
Appreciate that memo and the summarization, John. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve a $5,000 contribution toward a match for the DCNR grant for the Green Ribbon Trail Access and Safety Improvement Plan. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up in our packet is our invoice report for January 27th, 2026. Are there any questions from the board?
None.
Any questions from the public?
No.
Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve the invoice report for January 27th, 2026. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Included in our board packet was the minutes from our January 5th organizational meeting and in our January 13th meeting. Are there any questions on those minutes? Any corrections? Any questions from the public?
No.
Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for January 5th, 2026 and January 13th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Included in the board packet is our volunteer. I don't really think there are any volunteer. There aren't any volunteer meeting highlights, but we shall see them in the future. Staff updates.
You may have noticed it snowed over the weekend. Our guys came in very early Sunday morning. At some point, we had some assistant plow truck operators with us. Guys stayed out plowing most of the day into the night. We left early Monday morning, returned later Monday morning after some sleep. Guys have been cleaning up streets, pushing back intersections, cleaning up sidewalks. We still have some work to do. There's still some areas that need help, but we're going to work on it again tomorrow morning. Guys will be in early, make sure around the school's good, and probably the rest of the week of cleaning up snow. So if residents are out there and they're worried about sight distance, looking up from intersections and stuff, we're going to take care of it. So give us a chance and we'll catch up. And if they have anything that's like immediate concern, that they let us know, we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Fred, I don't know if I can accurately articulate the new appreciation I have for all that Public Works does. I think I got a better understanding over the summer. But the 3 of us took rides in the plow, and I think it's hard to even fathom because we're talking about these individuals were up for over 24 hours. And I only rode in the truck for an hour and a half, and I was exhausted. And it's not just that you're riding in a truck and you're plowing the streets. It's that you're dealing with heavy machinery that takes a skill, and that you're dealing with inclement weather that most people aren't maneuvering in, and that you're doing it with such little sleep. I can't even hardly commend an appreciation that I have for all that you guys have done and continue to do. And all of the work and dedication that it takes to do that job, to do it well, and that we are so lucky to have you guys in Lower Gwinnett Township. So thank you so much.
Thanks. I'll pass that along.
Pass that along.
And our guys are really, like, they take a lot of pride in making sure the streets are open for the residents. They like to compare themselves to other townships and where they live when they go home.
Mhm.
They like to say, my roads stink at home, but our roads in Lower Gwinnett are way better. So it's good that they take that pride in it. I think it shows.
They do a tremendous job,
Mhm.
tremendous job.
It was great. And it was great hearing, everyone talking on the radio, making sure everybody's covering what they need to cover. Or if someone saw something, they're flagging it for somebody else. And it's just really the teamwork and the cooperation. And it was really nice to see. And
We're glad you guys got out. I know the guys that drove you around, like, appreciated having somebody to talk to for a little bit and keep them company. And, they had a good time. So we could set that up again, maybe, if you want to take.
I was going to ask him to come get me I was going to ask him to come get me that night because I felt like just felt so sad that he was still out doing it. And I could see him driving past my house and I was like, oh, buddy. No, it was an awesome experience.
yeah,
Awesome
really
experience.
grateful.
You got the full effect because with the snow blowing around, you saw how hard it is to see.
It is truly hard.
And,
Windshield wipers freezing off.
yeah,
And
and I think people expect the snowplow needs to be on their street constantly, but when you can only do 5 or 10 miles an hour because you can't see, it takes
Yeah.
a long time to get around. So
Mhm.
we do the best we can.
Mhm.
And the
Wow.
snow was coming down fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets a little overwhelming, but in the end, we try to get it cleaned up the best we can.
we did a great job and we're really grateful.
Very grateful. And they all had a very pleasant disposition. I feel I was more frustrated for them than they were.
Yeah, it really is a good group of guys we have in Public Works.
Awesome job. We are forever indebted and grateful for you. Any other staff updates?
We had a program director start today. We have a new employee, Morgan High, had her first day at work. As far as I know, she's coming back tomorrow.
Awesome. Any other? Nothing else? No? Just can we highlight again? I know that we'll probably have another meeting, but Thursday, February 19th, 7 p.m. at Gwinnett Mercy University. More details will be on our website and on a flyer, but that will be the unveiling of our comprehensive plan. And we need everybody to come out and discuss what redevelopment could and would look like in Lower Gwinnett. Again, this plan would be in effect at 2045, long after this board is gone. That's supervisor updates. You ready, Andrea?
You can.
Yes.
You can phone a friend.
Yes.
Anything you want to comment, say, anything you want to share? If not, you can defer to Janine.
No, I just want to echo your thanks, Danielle, Fred. It was, you guys run a really seamless operation. So thank you for all Public Works does.
Janine?
Yes, echo everything about Public Works. Congratulations to the Going Green Award recipients. 2 other event announcements to just push out. On February 7th, the township and our community response unit are partnering with a local nonprofit called the Giving Tree to put on sort of a service project. So invite the public to come in and prepare sock rolls to benefit the homeless community, especially in these freezing temperatures. You essentially just wrap a pair of warm crew socks and stuff healthy snacks, granola bars and crackers and cookies. Cookies aren't healthy, but everyone deserves a treat in the sock roll. And then it gets distributed throughout the area. They do this project typically in our schools. I know my son and daughter did it at Wissahickon, but they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary of doing this. And they've helped, they've given out over 100,000 sock rolls to the unhoused in our community and in surrounding communities. So in honor of the 10-year anniversary, we kind of want to open this up more to the public and invite anyone to come and participate. If you can't come, they're accepting donations. I don't know if Kayla was able to get the donation box out yet, but the plan is to put a donation box in the lobby. So if anyone wants to donate men's crew socks, granola bars, individually packaged, there's like peanut butter or cheese crackers. More information is available on the website, but especially in this weather, it's really, I'm happy that we're going to do as much as we can for folks who are outside in the cold. And the Parks and Rec Board is partnering with the Springhouse Tavern to do a fun event on February 9th. This is sort of a seasonal, learn how to make your own cocktail appetizer with
Charcuterie
their,
board.
yeah, with their bartender and their chef. And it'll be a very small event. The restaurant's not open to the public on Mondays. So bring a friend and sign up on the website. And there will be more events like that coming forward in the future with our very eager and excited Parks Board and new program director. So buckle up.
Thank you, Janine. Jimmy?
Well, one, I think it's unfair to throw Andrea to do the comment.
You want me to start with you
So-
from now on?
No,
I'll start down there. I'll start down there.
Just for tonight,
Let's
just
start
for
with Ted.
tonight. But,
Last week I let Janine go first so she could see, or not last week, but last meeting.
just echoing everything, Public Works, awesome. Just from the last meeting, the police, again, it's amazing how just great you guys, the police department has done and with the evaluation. So I'm just very proud to be a part of, this organization and what you guys do. It just, it's amazing. I do, kind of brag about it to others on how great everyone here, what you guys do, really. So thank you very much. And I'm sure I can, speak for the other board members as well in saying that.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Hopefully everyone will stay safe, stay warm, keep your pets warm, and be careful as you maneuver outside because it is still very cold. But thank you all. With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I
Meeting is adjourned.